By the end of the video, you'll create a modern looking portfolio website for software developers using React, Tailwind CSS, and the Framer Motion library. The website will also be responsive for a great user experience across devices. Before we begin coding, let's look at what we are going to build in this video. The website begins with a responsive navigation bar that is fixed at the top. On the smaller screens, we'll have a mobile menu that toggles to display or hide the menu. When clicked on the links, you experience a smooth scrolling. Next is the hero section that has a full screen background image, and you also see name and description text overlaid on the image. For animation, we'll be using Framer Motion. After this, we have About section, which will provide some information about the developer in large text followed by a paragraph. Then we have the Project section that showcases all the projects of the full stack developer, complete with image cards, project titles, and brief descriptions. This is followed by the Skills section, which highlights the developer's expertise with icons, names, and year of experience for each skill. Next is the Achievement section that showcases a significant achievement of the developer. This section includes a video and a description of the award received. After this, we have Testimonials section, which displays positive feedbacks the developer has received. Each review contains a quote, the person's name, and their role, followed by Contact section, which uses Email.js to send emails. Once you fill the form and click on Send, it provides a notification that is implemented using the React Hot Toast package. Plus, it will also send an email to the owner. Last is the Footer section that contains the logo and social media links. In the end, we also deploy the code using the Vercel platform. So let's get started. Let's begin by creating a folder on the desktop. We'll name it Robot Butcher. Next, let's drag this folder in the VS Code editor. Head over to the Tailwind CSS website and in the quick search, type wheat. Copy the npm create command to create a new project. Let's change this to current working directory. Run the npm install command. After this, install the Tailwind CSS with Post CSS and Auto Prefixer. Also, generate the Tailwind and Post CSS config files. Let's add the paths to all the template files. I'll copy the entire code and paste it in the Tailwind config file. Copy the Tailwind directives and paste it in the index.css file. We don't need the default code, so I have deleted it. We'll not require the app.css file, so let's delete it. Head over to the app.jsx file and delete all the default code. Let's test this by running the server. I also want to test if Tailwind is configured properly. For this, I'll copy this little code here and paste it in the app.jsx file. So the styles are being applied. All the assets that you see on the page can be downloaded from the GitHub link provided in the description. Once you download the code, copy and replace the assets folder in your project source folder. Let's also add the constants folder. For font, I'll be using Interfont from the Google Font website. Let's import it in the index.css file. Declare the font family as Inter. I'll delete this test code and replace it with a main tag. Class overflow x hidden, background black, tracking title, text color gray 200, and anti-aliased. I want all the components to be stored in a folder, so let's name it components. In this, I'll create a new file for Navbar. Include it in the app.jsx. We'll need a toggle function for the mobile menu, so I'll declare a state for this. The toggle mobile menu will simply toggle the state. Let's also declare a function for smooth scrolling and name it handle link click. Event.prevent default. Use the query selector on the href to get the target element. If the target element is present, offset it by a value of -85. Get the element position. Get bonding client rec dot top. Offset position will be element position. Window.scroll y. And the offset. Call the window.scroll2 with top offset position and behavior is smooth. The mobile menu bar should be closed once you click it, so set it to false. Add a nav tag with class fixed left 0, right 0, top will be 4, and z-index 50. First, let's write code for the desktop version. Div with class mxauto, hidden by default, max with 2xl, item center, justify center, rounded large, background black with opacity 20, padding on y-axis 3, backdrop blur large, and on large screen flex so that it is visible. Div with class flex justify between and gap 6. Inside this, let's declare our logo. Source will be logo, which we will import. Width 90. Import logo from assets. Logo.png. After this, let's declare an unordered list to display the links. Class flex, item center, and gap 4. We'll look through the navigation links, which is available in the constants folder. Ally with key index, anchor tag with class, text small, and on hover, text yellow 400. href is equal to item.href. On click is equal to handling click function, where we will pass item.href. This will be item.label. After this, let's work on the mobile menu. Div with class, rounded large, backdrop blur MD, on large screen hidden. Inside this a div with class, flex, item center, and justify between. Inside this, let's declare our logo. Source will be logo, width 90, add some margin, a div to display the toggle button, flex, and item center, button, with class, focus outline none, and on large screen hidden. On click is equal to toggle mobile venue. Also, depending on toggle value, we'll either show the bars or close icon. Class margin 2, height 6, and width 5. Class margin 2, height 6, and width 5. If is mobile menu is true, display the links on the mobile version. UL with class margin left 4, margin top 4, flex column, gap 4, and backdrop blur empty. Just like the desktop version, look through the navigation links. Li with key index, anchor tag with class, block, width full, text excel, and font semi-bold. href is equal to item href. On click is equal to handle link click function, where we'll pass item.href. This will be item.label. Obviously, the navbar is not clearly visible since we have applied opacity to it. Let's create a new file for the hero section. Include it in the app.jsx file. Declare a div with class relative, flex, minimum height screen, item sent, and justify center. ID will be hero. Image tag with source, profile picture which we will import from assets. Alt is equal to profile.name. Class absolute, inset 0, z index of 10, height full, width full, and object cover. Import the image. Next will be a div to add a gradient overlay on the image. Absolute, insert 0, the index of 10, background gradient to bottom, from transparent, %60 to black, and on last screen from 30%. After this, I div for the header tag, the index of 20, margin on x-axis 4, max width 3 pixel, and padding bottom 20. H1 tag with class, text 5 pixel, font semi-bold, uppercase, tracking wide, and MD text 7 pixel. This will be profile.name. Lastly, a paragraph tag with class, padding of top 2, and font semi-bold. Text will come from profile.info. With this, we have completed our Navbar and hero section. The toggle menu bar is also working as expected. Next will be the About section, so let's create a new file for the same. Include it in the app.jsx file. Add class, container, and mxauto. ID will be about. Inside this, we'll have h2 tag with class, margin top 20, text center, text 4 pixel, and font semi-bold. Text will be about. Next will be h3 tag with class, padding 4, text 6 pixel, uppercase, and on large screen text 8 trim. Text will be about.text1. Below this, a paragraph tag with class, margin on right 24, padding on left 4, text large, and leading loose. Text will be about.text2. The last text is visible on the screen and is aligned properly. Let's also check the mobile version. The smooth scroll is also working when you click the About link in the navbar. With this, we have completed the About section. Next will be the Projects section. So let's create a new file for it. include it in the app.jsx file. Let's also create a new file by name card.jsx. This will contain component card to display the project image, title, and description. It will take props, image, title, subtitle, and link. Let's declare an anchor tag with hreflink class, margin 4, block, max width small, overflow hidden, and rounded large. Div with class, relative. Inside this an image tag with class widthful, source image, alt title, due to display the title and description, with class flex, flex column, justify between, padding 4, and text white. H2 tag for the title, class, margin bottom 2, text 2XL, and font bold. A paragraph tag for subtitle, margin bottom 4, text small, and font medium. Now we can use this card in the projects component. ID will be projects. Declare h2 tag with class, margin top 20, text center, text 4XL, and font semi-bold. A div to display the cards with class, flex, flex wrap, justify center, and padding on y-axis 8. Let's look through the projects, which is available in the constants folder. Div with key index, card component, pass the image, title is equal to project.image, subtitle is equal to project.subtitle. And last will be the link. You can see all the projects displayed on the screen with image, title, and subtitle. Let's take the mobile version. We can see the projects are aligned properly on the mobile as well. Next section will be the skill section, which displays all the technologies the developer uses. Include it in the app.jsx file. It's visible on the screen. Let's add class, container, and MX Auto. ID will be skills. Declare an h2 tag with class margin bottom 12, margin top 20, text center, text 4XL. Text will say skills. Next will be a div with class. Margin on x-axis 2, flex, flex column, rounded Excel, background, gradient to bottom, from zinc 900 to zinc 950. Padding on x-axis 4, padding on y-axis 10, and on large screen, padding on x-axis 20. Let's loop through all the skills using map method. I'll need to import skills from constants folder in order to use it. Inside this, let's declare a div with key index, class, margin bottom 8, flex, item center, and justify between. Declare a div to hold the icon and skills name. Flex, and item center. Display skills icon. H3 tag for the skills name. Padding on x-axis 6, text Excel, and on last screen text 3XL. Next will be the div to display the experience. Text empty, border bottom 2, border yellow 400, font semi-bold, and on last screen, text Excel. Add a span with text skill.experience. As you can see, we have a beautiful skill section with all the skills and experience displayed. This is also looking good on mobile version. After skills, we have the achievement showcase section. So let's create a new file for the same. Include it in the app.jsx file. Let's add ID award. An h2 tag for the header, class, margin bottom 12, margin top 20, text center, text 4XL, and font semi-bold. Text will be award. Let's add a div with class. MX Auto, Flex, max width 6XL, and Flex Wrap. Inside this, we'll add a div which will contain the video. Class widthful, padding 2, and on small screen width 1/2. Add the video tag with class widthful and rounded large. Autoplay, muted, loop, plays inline, source tag with source video, type is equal to video mp4, let's also import the video from the assets folder. Another div to display the achievement with title and description. Widthful, padding 4, text center, and on small screen width 1/2. Let's add the h2 tag with class margin bottom 4 and text 3XL. Text will be achievement.title. Import achievement from constants folder. Add a span for award. Margin top 4. Border bottom. Border yellow. 400. Padding on y-axis 2. Text Excel. Font semi-bold. Uppercase. And text yellow 400. Text will be achievement.award. Add a paragraph tag for the description. Margin 4, padding 2, and italic. This will be achievement.description. So with this, we have finished the achievement showcase section. This is how it looks on the mobile version. Let's add the testimonial section next. Add the component in the app.jsx file. ID will be testimonial with class container. MX Auto, margin top 20, padding on y-axis 16, and tracking title. Add h2 tag with class. Margin bottom 12, text center, text 4XL, font semi-bold. Text will be what people say. Add a div for the testimonials, MX Auto, and max width 3XL. Let's loop through the testimonials. Import testimonials from the constants folder. Add a div with key index. Class MX4, margin bottom 8, flex column, item center, rounded large, border, border dotted, border gray 600, padding 6, and MD flex row. Inside this will be the image of the person. Source is testimonial.image. Alt, testimonial name. Class, margin bottom 4, margin right 6, height 16, width 16, rounded full, and MD margin bottom 0. After this will be due to display the information. A paragraph for quote, class, margin bottom 4, and italic. Text will be testimonial.quote. Second paragraph for name, class, font bold, and third paragraph for title, class text color, gray 400, With this, you can see all the testimonials with the image of the person, review, name, and designation. Mobile version is also looking good. After testimonials, we have the contact form section, which will use email.js to send emails. Let's include it in the app.jsx file. Next step will be to install email.js SDK. Let's copy the command to install email.js. We'll also be using React Hot Toast for the notifications. So let's copy the command to install this package. For email.js, you can sign up for a free account if you do not have one already. Once this is done, you can sign in. Click on the new service and select the service that you would like to connect with. I'll be using Gmail for this video. Click on Create Service and connect the account. Now let's create an email template. You can customize the email as per your liking. Let's edit the content. I'll remove the first line and change it to say, from username. This will be user email. Let's also remove the best wishes and apply changes. Save it. Let's initialize the form data state using useStateHook. This will contain three properties: name, email, and message. Similarly, error to handle form errors. We'll also have isSending state to handle the send button. Let's declare a handle function to update the state of the form fields dynamically as the user types. Destructure name and value properties from the e.target. Update the form data state using the setFormData. Let's also declare a function to handle form errors. If the name field in form data is empty, let's add an error message to the errors object. Similarly, if the email is empty, let's add the error message. Email is required. If the email is present, we'll need to check the format of the email using the regular expression. Message will say email is invalid. If the message is not present, error message is required. In the end, return the errors. Now let's work on handling the submit button. Prevent the default behavior. We'll check for any validation errors by calling the validate function. If there are validation errors, update the error state using setErrors function. Else, errors is empty. And isSending state is set to true so that the button is disabled. Let's call the email.js send function. Copy the service ID. Next will be the template ID. Followed by form data. And last will be the public key. .then response. Let's log the success status and text. Let's also invoke the toast notification has message sent successfully. Let's also reset the form data. Catch any error. Log the error. Use the toast notification to display error message. Finally, set is sending to false to enable the send button. Now let's code the JSX part. Class mxauto, max width 3xl, and padding 4. ID will be contact. Toaster component to display notification. H2 tag with class. Margin on y-axis 8. Text center. Text 4xl. Font semi-bold. And tracking title. Text will say, let's connect. Form tag on submit. Handle submit. Margin bottom 4. Input tag. Type text. ID name. Value. Form data.name. Placeholder name. On change call handle change. Class. Margin bottom 8. Width full. Appearance none. Rounded large. Border. Border gray 900. Background transparent. Padding on x-axis 3. Padding on y-axis 2. Text small. Focus. Border gray 400. And focus outline none. Display error if user submitted the form with empty name field. Text small. Text pink 700. This will be errors.name. I'll copy this div and paste it twice. Change the input type to email. ID email. Name email. Value form data.email. Placeholder email. This will be errors.email. Next will be message. This will be text area. ID message. Name is equal to message. Value form data.message. Placeholder message. Change errors.message. Add rows equal to 4. Let's add the button. Class margin bottom 8, width full, rounded, background yellow 400, padding on x-axis 4, padding on y-axis 2, text small, font semi-bold, text slate 950, and on hover, background yellow 500. If isSending is true, cursor not allowed, and opacity 50. Disabled is equal to isSending. If isSending is true, button text will be sending, else it will be send. The UI on the large screen looks good. The placeholder and the button is also aligned properly. We'll also look at the mobile version to see if it is aligned as per our design. This looks good. Also, let's check if we are able to scroll to this section. Let's check if the form is working fine. When I click the button, the text changes to sending, and we see the toast notification. And we have also received the email indicating that email.js is working as expected. Our last section will be footer section. Add this in the app.jsx file. Let's first import logo from the assets. Add class, margin bottom 8 and margin top 20. Div with class, flex, item center and justify center. Add a figure tag to hold image and a div with yellow rectangle. Source as logo, width 200, class, margin bottom 2, below this a div with class, margin bottom 10, height 3, width 12 and background yellow 400. Add a div with class, flex, item center, justify center and gap 8. Let's look through all these social media links. Anchor tag with key index, href is equal to link.href, target is equal to underscore blank, add attributes, no opener and no referrer. Inside this will be link.icon, add a paragraph tag for copyright text, margin top 8, text center, text small, tracking wide and text gray 400. Let's write the standard all right reserved text. Alright, so now we can see the large logo along with the yellow bar below it, followed by all the social media links and the copyright text. This is how it looks in the mobile version. We haven't added the animation to our website, so let's do that by installing Frame of Motion. Let's start with the hero section. Import motion from Frame of Motion. Add motion to the image tag. Initial value will be opacity 0, animate, opacity 1, transition, duration 1. Refresh the page to see it in action. Let's add motion to the gradient view. Initial value will be opacity 0, animate, opacity 1, transition, duration 1. Also, let's animate the text in the hero section. Initial value will be opacity 0, animate, opacity 1, transition, duration 1, let's also add a delay of 1. So you can see a smooth animation when the hero section is loaded. After the hero section, open the about.jsx file and import frame of motion. Add motion to the h2 tag. Initial value will be opacity 0, y minus 20, while in view, opacity 1, y 0, transition, duration 0.5, viewport once is true so that it animates only once. Similarly, add motion to h3 tag. Initial opacity 0, x minus 100, while in view, opacity 1, x 0, transition, duration 1, viewport once true. Next, add motion to paragraph tag. Initial opacity 0, x 100, while in view, opacity 1, x 0, transition, duration 1, viewport once true. Save the file. So you can see the content is animating with header from the left to right and paragraph from right to left. Next will be the projects section. For this, I'll create variants. First will be container variants, hidden, opacity 0, y -20, visible, opacity 1, y 0, transition, duration 0.5, stagger children 0.4. Also, let's declare item variants. Hidden, opacity 0, visible, opacity 1, scale 1, transition, duration 0.5. Let's import the frame of motion. Add motion to H2 tag. Initial will be hidden. While in view, visible, variants, container variants, viewport, once, true. Add motion to div. Initial, hidden. While in view, visible. Variants, container variants. Viewport, once true. Add motion to the individual projects. Variance is equal to items variance. Refresh the page and you'll see the projects loading one after the other. Let's move to the skill section. Container variants. Hidden. Opacity 0. Y 20. Visible. Opacity 1. Y 0. Transition. Duration 1. Stagger children 0.5. Const. Item variants. Hidden. opacity 0, x minus 20, visible, opacity 1, x 0, transition, duration 0.5, import frame of motion. Let's add motion to this div. Initial, hidden, while in view, visible, variants, container variants, viewport once true. For individual skills, add variants is equal to item variants. With this, you can see a smooth animation with skills animating one after the other. Next will be Achievement Showcase section. Import frame of motion, container variants, hidden, opacity 0, y 20, visible, opacity 1, y 0, transition, duration 1, stagger children 0.8. Item variants, hidden, opacity 0, x minus 20, visible, opacity 1, x 0, transition, duration 0.5. Add motion to this div. Initial, hidden, while in view, visible, variants, container variants, viewport once true. Add motion to the div containing video. Variants, item variants, also add motion to next div. Variants is equal to item variants. Refresh the page to see the animation in action. Next is Testimonials section. Import the frame of motion, container variants, hidden, opacity 0, visible, opacity 1, transition, stagger children 0.8, item variants, hidden, opacity 0, visible, opacity 1, Y 0, transition, duration 0.5. Add motion to this div. Initial, hidden, while in view, visible, variants, container variants, viewport, once true. Also add motion to next div. Variants, item variants. Let's test the animation. After testimonials, we have the contact form section. Import frame of motion. Add motion to form. Initial is equal to opacity 0. While in view, opacity 1. Transition, duration 0.8. Delay 1. Add the motion to the paragraph tag that displays error. Initial is equal to opacity 0. While in view, opacity 1. Let's copy this code and add it to the remaining paragraph tags that display error. With this, you can see the form is animating. Also, when I click the send button without data, the errors are also animated. Okay, so let's move ahead to last section, footer. Import frame of motion. Add motion to the figure tag. Initial opacity 0. While in view, opacity 1. Transition, duration 1.5. Delay 1. Let's also add motion to the anchor tags. Initial is equal to opacity 0. While in view, opacity 1. Transition, duration 0.2. Delay 0.5 into index. Refresh the page. The footer section is also animated. Let's also check the mobile version. Everything looks good. For deployment, we'll be using Vercel platform. You can sign up for a free account if you don't have one. Before deploying, let's check if all the functionalities are working fine. The smooth scroll is also working on all the navigation links. So, we are ready for deployment. Let's create a new repository. I'll name it Robert Butcher. Click on Create Repository. Git init. Git add. Commit the code. Copy the remote command. Git branch. Let's push the code to origin. Now let's add a new project in Vercel dashboard. I'll select the latest repository, Robert Butcher. Click on Deploy. And that is it. Our website is now deployed on Vercel and is available on the web. click the image to test it out. With this, we have successfully completed the portfolio project. I hope you have found this video helpful. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.